Did your elementary school teacher ever make you go and stand in the corner when all you were doing was trying to speak the truth? Is Barack Obama secretly Hawaiian? Are the Church of Scientology secretly trying to take over your town? Do the Jews secretly control the Israeli government? Don't get cold feet just yet, because it's always 90 degrees here in the conspiracy corner. Or at least that's what they want you to think.
Well, thank you for joining us again on the Conspiracy Corner, Nick.
I didn't know that a round room could have corners, but here we are.
Some would say it has an infinite number of corners.
Some would say you're stupid, but this is a conspiracy. And this is the Conspiracy Corner with our host.
I'm Brett. And
Did you forget your name?
Yes.
You forgot your name. That's funny.
Well, they erased it with beta waves and satellites.
Oh, is that the topic?
No. Today, much like a round room, we're going to be talking about rounded ceilings, about the prevalence of domes in architecture and in neoclassical architecture, along with the
what's your
opinion
on ceiling tits?
Columns. Personally, I'm for them.
Really?
Yes, traditionally in the architectural view of the dome is that it represents the vault of the heavens, the curvature of the sky, and sort of the dominion of man or of God over the heavens and the skies.
Dude, I'm just talking about light fixtures that once you stare at it, it looks like a tit.
Yeah, it's got the
nub
downward dome and the nub at the center that you unscrew.
Yeah, you can't unsee that once you see it. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry, sir.
Never got any milk from the thing, but God knows I've tried.
So what? You're over here just milking the shit out of a fucking ceiling light? Is that where milk comes from? I knew it.
Not as much. I've tried to milk the ceiling titty pretty hard, but not as much as Russian conspiracy theorists have tried to milk theosophical views for an agenda that pushes Russian superiority over Central Asia.
So what? I thought we were talking about ceilings.
No, today we're talking about the Tartarian Empire.
The what? What is a fucking Tartarian?
The Tartarian Empire is a conspiracy theory that says that the world was once ruled by a empire called Tartaria.
Really?
Yes, and that they...
Riveting start, my friend.
And that they left behind many buildings, notably in the...
What, near like Constantinople? Like Turkey?
The Hagia Sophia is a little bit different. It plays into some other conspiracy theories about lost time and stuff, where they claim that it's Solomon's temple.
Oh.
But no, this is a conspiracy theory that in the olden days, on old maps, they would label Central Asia Tartary or Tartary. That there was originally a tribe of nomadic people, sort of like the Turks or the Mongols,
Okay.
who lived in Central Asia, who were called the Tatars.
Anything to do with potatoes?
No, afraid not.
Oh.
It does have to do with a tartar sauce, I believe.
Oh.
Like the stuff you dip fish in. But they slipped an extra R in there to make it sound cooler.
Like you do.
Right.
Linguistics.
And, it originally came out of the crockpot of Russian conspiracy theories to justify, again, Russian neo-imperialism in Central Asia. But it has a more interesting application in the United States, where it has sort of gained another life.
Okay.
Where people are theorizing that the Tartarian Empire once ruled North America.
That's a
And they-
stretch.
Well, they justify this by looking at architecture and the architectural history of the country. look at all the
Okay, the ceiling vault.
They
comment.
look at
Got it.
all the architectural doodads left over from the World's Fairs, right? Like the one in Chicago and the one in St. Louis. They look at all the illustrations of these old fancy buildings that they put up for the World's Fair. They look at stuff, old fancy neoclassical buildings like the Singer Building and the original Penn Station in New York, and say that, oh yeah, well they had these amazing grand marble structures, right? Just like they had in the old world, but they were all knocked down, right?
Okay.
It's a fucking conspiracy.
I mean, is it that much of a stretch to think that somebody somewhere came up with the same kind of architecture design?
It is sort of what we tell people about the old world. You know, that you can tell that the Roman Empire conquered Britain because they left behind baths and stuff in the Roman style.
Those damn Romans, the only culture to ever bathe themselves.
You find the Roman arches and columns of the aqueducts in Spain and France and across the Middle East.
Yeah, I do. They were pretty to see.
So it's sort of taking that logic and applying it to the Americas, that there was some lost ancient civilization that built all these huge, impressive-looking neoclassical buildings all over the place.
Okay. And what... So their only... I guess their only legitimacy is that they said, oh, this building looks like that building. LMFAO. Conspiracy confirmed. I don't know if I
Do you know how many
trust
conspiracy theories boil down to, well, this looks like something else?
I don't. That's why we're doing this whole entire conspiracy corner.
Like, a lot of them.
Oh. Well, I just learned something new today.
No, but what I like about the conspiracy theory of the Tartarian Empire is that I think it shows a gap left in public life by the beautification of architecture, of beauty in public spaces. I think it shows that people miss this grandiose neoclassical style that we associate with old world grandeur.
Can you describe what a neoclassical look is? I'm not, I get what cubism is. I get what country bumpkin stuff looks like.
You know, we call ancient Greece and Rome like the classics, like the classical style.
Okay.
You know, they built buildings with domes, columns, arches, whitewashed stone buildings.
Oh.
You know, all the shit in D.C., right?
Oh.
Basically think of anything in D.C. Well, except the Washington Monument, which is modeled after an Egyptian obelisk, but the White House, the Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial.
Lots and lots of
White
pillars.
House. Did I say the White House already?
You did.
Right. Lots of whitewashed stone pillars, triangular pendentives and stuff on top of the...
You ever seen the Martin Luther King Jr. monument over in D.C.? Like if I say that, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so. Let me look it up.
So it's whitewashed. It's kind of a... I wouldn't say it's a similar design, but all it is it's a monument. It's a bunch of walls, bunch of sculptures.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's just a statue of him carved out of a rock.
Yeah, something like similar to that, or no? I don't know if I'd call it that.
No, I'm talking about not the statues of the guys, but the buildings that those statues are housed in.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, some of those were really old and built more or less the old-fashioned way out of stone, especially in D.C., especially in its early days. But what made a lot of these buildings possible, not technologically possible, but economically feasible for something like the World's Fair, was that they had by the 19th century, the invention of mass-produced steel. If they got the Bessemer process and stuff down, they were able to get cheap and strong steel to build steel frames that they could throw up pretty quick and easy and had the strength to bear all this stone facade.
Yeah.
Or in many cases, it was not even stone. In many cases, something like the World's Fair, where you needed something really big, really fancy looking, put up cheap and fast, a lot of times it was just plaster of Paris. It was just a fairly temporary plaster
Copy paste. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, something like in St. Louis, like they had the World's Fair, most of the buildings would have been cheaper and more temporary, but something like the Art Museum would have had not just a strong steel frame to last, but also some real stonework attached to it. It was designed to be a bit more permanent.
Okay.
So the idea that Christopher Columbus and them found a depopulated old world ruined with neoclassical ruins built by the Russians is pretty silly if it needed industrial steel.
Yeah, I mean, were they even around that time frame? What was the? It's before the Industrial Revolution, but I mean, what were the capabilities of any country capable of producing high quality steel? I'm sure it wasn't cheap. The infrastructure wasn't there.
Producing steel was a lot more dicey before the 19th century. It was done in much smaller quantities, it was very expensive, and it wasn't as good quality. And again, you could build massive, impressive stone structures before then, but it would have taken ages to do, and it would have taken skilled masons who had practiced their entire lives at stonemasonry. It would take them centuries to do. Something like Cologne Cathedral, right, or any of the great old cathedrals of Europe. They took hundreds of years to build without these steel frames.
Okay.
And it took incredible skill and talent to be able to do it. And they were often funded by the church or by the local city as a testament to the city's greatness, to the greatness of Cologne or Rem or wherever the cathedral was being built. And so, in rough times, the money dried up and slowed construction. A more famous example of that would be like in Barcelona, like the Sagrada Familia Cathedral. It's still ongoing construction.
Is it?
Yeah, it's still under construction. They started in the 1800s there.
You mean to tell me with today's technology, in just... Fuck, you can take a ship, go to Mexico, say, we will pay for your room and board if you finish this cathedral, and then ship them back over to the cathedral, get that shit done, and probably in less than 10 years you got something. Because I'm sure there's a lot of stonework.
Well, again, what the construction of the Sagrada Familia reveals about the process of the construction of a cathedral like that is that it takes a long time, not just because your methods are poor, but also because, the funding can dry up. It's privately funded by donations and volunteers, by the city and stuff, not so much by, the Pope himself. He doesn't have too much of an interest in this bizarre project. Or, war will come to the country, like the Spanish Civil War in the 1930s, and that'll halt production for a while. The original architect will die, and the plans will go up in smoke. That happened.
I hate it when the architect dies and the plans go up in smoke.
No, they literally caught fucking fire.
I'm telling you, Brett. I'm telling you.
I think that happened a couple times. I think the original plans
happened a couple times.
They brought Antonio Gaudi in, and then Gaudi's plans caught fire.
I don't know why he didn't make a copy, but I'm gonna tell you right now. It sounds like a conspiracy.
They found copy of it later, or at least they claimed to. Again,
sounds like
conspiracy. And we're invoking all this stuff to slow down the timeline of construction, even without invoking stereotypes about the Spanish.
What fucking stereotypes are there of the Spanish?
I'll tell you later.
On another conspiracy corner.
All is to say that these impressive stone megastructures, they're not impossible to do. They're just usually done slowly, not always just because of your methods suck, but because of other factors. It's not always the technological edge. But when you have something like a World's Fair, and you have the new technology, the new steel to be able to do it quick and fast, it can get done quick and fast, but it may not have the lasting power.
Okay.
I hate to constantly invoke short science fiction stories, but they're is a short science fiction story, I believe, by Philip K. Dick or somebody like that.
Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, we'll talk about Philip K. Dick later.
Did he have a big dick?
It's a story much along the lines of something like Futurama, about a guy who's going around taking pictures of what was futuristic architecture back in the 80s and stuff. And suddenly he keeps seeing hallucinations and visions of the past as it was envisioned in the 1930s.
Okay.
About, great big 20-engine flying boats and stuff. Futurama transport tubes and teleporters and stuff. As he's just disenfranchised with the miserable horror of life in the 80s, of grimy pollution and shit.
That poor bastard.
Again, I think the Tartaria theory as it stands in America today is more of a mourning for this lost grand style, for the loss of beauty in public spaces.
Okay.
I think that's what's interesting about it.
I like the idea of there potentially being some connection from the old world to the new world, even if I don't necessarily believe in the whole... two people can have the same fucking idea. I don't know if I believe that that conspiracy. I think it's... Yeah, I could see how it would be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 but it just doesn't make any sense, at least what we know logistically from how things need to be made and how the world was, how it went from here's some dirt, here's some wood, here's some steel, here's some water, here's some coal, here's some, oh fuck, now we're in the AI age, right? Like it's just, there's progression, and most people understand on how, if you're at least in North America, on how things progressed from Great Britain and the American Revolution and then the Civil War and World War One and Two.
Part of the misunderstanding of this sort of thing, that history is not linear, that progress isn't linear.
And somebody can have the same fucking idea. Like, it's not... I just keep going back to that. I just don't... I don't know. I'm just not convinced.
Your timeout is over. As the final echoes of our broadcast dissolve back into the void, you return from the Conspiracy Corner. A place not of whispers and shadows, but of reflection. Because in every tale of hidden hands and unseen forces, there lingers something far more unsettling. Not what is out there, but what lies within ourselves. And one final thought to carry with you back into that darkness. That federal agents are like opinions. Everybody has one, and they all stink.